John Lennon's perceptions and feelings about celebrity moved around a lot. The thing that we always have to keep in mind is he was always famous. He was always famous. And he told me that when he was a kid in Liverpool, he was the most famous kid in Liverpool. He was the most popular. He was the one at 14, 15, 16 that people took the greatest degree of interest in. His writings, his personality, and later his music. The girls cared about him. The guys wanted to be close to him. He always had people around him. So what happened with his celebrity is it just became bigger. It was being played on a larger stage. More people were conscious of what he always did, who he always was. So he accepted it. To some degree, I compare it to a beautiful woman who gets a certain amount of attention because of her physicality while she's in high school and is still pursued by men when she's in her 20s and 30s. And as she gets older, she gets used to the fact that when she walks into a room and heads turn, that's just part of it. I don't know how old Elizabeth Taylor is right now, but when Elizabeth Taylor walks into a room and people still see those eyes, which are hypnotically, radiantly beautiful, for her, it's simply an extension of the way it's always been from National Velvet. She's always just been Elizabeth Taylor, the woman who you couldn't take your eyes off of. So John understood it. At times it bothered him if we were out at a restaurant eating and he would just get his first spoonful of soup to his mouth and somebody would shove a napkin under his nose and say, "Would you mind signing this? I've never been a big fan of yours, but my daughter really..." Or any kind of interruptive act. Then it bothered him. But if we were boarding the Concorde or an airplane and they brought him to the front of the line, he didn't mind it as much. He didn't like crowds to form if he had to stand on a street corner for a red light, but when we went shopping for Sean's Christmas presents, I could call FAO Schwartz, the largest toy store in New York, and say, "Could you keep the place open late? I'm going to bring John Lennon in so he can do all of his shopping without anybody bothering him." And they would say yes. And if you talk to most celebrities, they'll tell you that those perks, to some degree, compensated for the intrusions. New York was cool for him because there weren't the mobs, there weren't the crowd scenes. He was raised in a celebrity environment where women came rushing at him with scissors to cut little pieces of hair off when he was a Beatle. So everything after that became easier, more comfortable for him.